right, Blazers fans, I know you've been wondering, where is the Rip City Roundtable podcast? Where have you been? Well, we had to take our summer break. In Adrian's case, your winter break, I suppose, being where you're at. We're so glad everyone's back. We're getting ready for a season of what are some good adjectives, guys? Like positive ones,
Development.
progress. Maybe Cooper Flag at the end of the tunnel. Who knows?
Veiled misery, perhaps. Veiled misery. Yeah.
That's not the eternal optimist that I know, Adrian.
No, sorry.
Well, we're here now. This is a first, and we know, kicking off season 2 here of the Rip City Roundtable podcast. I'm your host, Corey Dickman. We're bringing Connor and Adrian together at the same time. We're going to try to break the internet. I think, Connor, you had mentioned one time before, I think the last time I had you on, that you always followed Adrian, right? Yeah. Every time we had Adrian on, you came on. Well, now, Connor, you can't say that because you're here together. So,
it's combine the powers.
Combine the powers. So, what I want to do to kick off, the season starts when this episode drops. Season will be like literally the next day or right around the corner. First off, catch us up on some summer, and Adrian, being in Australia, your winter. But how's the off season been? Connor, start with you. You've had some changes. There's some good.
It's been a exciting summer for me. I was trying last year to get a press pass for Blazers games. It didn't really work out, and then it happened this year. So I will be on site for Blazers Edge doing game reports, practice reports, and I think it's the first time we've had somebody from Blazers Edge at games in like 10 years, maybe a decade. So I'm very honored to be representing the site there. And it's only been like 3 weeks, but it's been like a whirlwind of 3 weeks, going to like media day and getting to ask players questions. So
you've already been on Locked On Blazers, and you got mentioned on Jack Ramsey's yesterday. Like, you're all over the place.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know about Jack Ramsey's. Yeah, it was weird because I listened to Danny and Mike for like the last 3 or 4 years. So it was cool to go on with Mike Richmond. But the summer was just kind of preparing for that. I went part-time at my day job, summarizing medical articles. Shout out Avis Medical Group. And I also got my very first car.
There you go.
To be able to attend games. So no longer driving my mom's car. Still at mom's house, but no longer driving the car.
Shout out to mom still.
Yeah.
But no car.
I think, and dad's house.
And dad's house. Yeah, that's true. Together. I think we need to reach out to the medical company, maybe a sponsor of the podcast. I don't know. Give them a call.
They're great. Based in Evanston, Illinois. So
there you go. Rabid Blazers fans up there in Illinois. Adrian, how's it going down under? What's it been like the last few months for you?
Well, given that it's been a bit colder, I thought I might take a negative stance. I've been trying to find different ways to talk about losing every week on the column, which has been fun. It has been fun because it really kind of makes you get outside your comfort zone. But it's good. It's starting to warm up, although it's been a bit cold today. But getting ready for a nice summer down under.
There we go. That'll be good. Well, we had this off season, which feels like a forever ago that the summer league happened. It was nice to see Klingon play some preseason games, but off season, give me the grades. I mean, give me the from when the last game happened through the summer summer league. What's the grade you give the Portland Trailblazers? Well, Connor, we'll start with you again. What grade are you giving? Where are you going?
I would go, I think solid B. I think is fair. Like definitely wasn't bad. I like the Avdia trade a lot. We haven't, or I shouldn't say we. The Blazers have not had a really versatile small forward in a few years now. I think he brings a lot to the team. Some people thought the price was too much. I don't know. I wasn't too hung up on that. Maybe it was a little bit of an overpay, but Avdia's young. He still could get, he's coming off a career year. He still could go even higher, so I wasn't too mad at it. They had to trade Malcolm Brogdon, and I liked the Clingan pick. You know, I'm not gonna like set the world on fire with it yet. We'll see how he does, but he did well in summer league, and I think he projects to be just a solid NBA rotation player. So, you know, if they'd done like a big trade with Jeremy Grant or Anthony Simons, maybe that would have bumped them up to an A for me. But it seems like just like a solid, fine offseason. Not bad, not amazing.
All right. Okay. Connor went with the B minus or B? What was it?
B.
Okay. Solid B. Adrian, where are you going? What grade?
I'm starting to feel the pain of having to follow someone, Connor. I'm starting to feel your pain because you said everything I wanted to say.
Well, that's good. We're in great minds, you know what that's great minds.
But I'm going to have to get used to following you because you're kicking goals all over the place at the moment. So it's going to be a regular thing. I was actually thinking of solid B as well. So we're uniform on this. I love the Avdia trade, and I have no issue with what they gave up. Absolutely nothing. If you look at that second best pick in 29, the pick that's going to be the good one is the Milwaukee one, the Boston and the Portland one. Probably, hopefully, are going to be kind of 20s, late teens. So I'm happy to give up one of those. But no, I've been an Avdia fan since the draft, that 2020 draft. So massive. Clingan, what the hell was Detroit doing with Ron Holland at 5? Seriously.
Thank you, Detroit.
Clingan just fell into their lap, and they did the right thing. So I can't fault them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm with you guys. I think I go a little low. I'd say C+. And the only thing is I think Simons or Grant, you know, I know Dave really wants that Ayton trade. I just, there probably needed to be one more just to kind of really lay the groundwork for the tanking season that we should embark on here. But now if Avdia turns out to really be that player, then I go up with you to a B, maybe B+. But Clingan, I'm going to put like a thing on the wall, you know, and like when you go to workplaces where it's like this many days since injury, you know, or whatever. I want to track until he gets fouled out of a game, because if Clingan cannot foul out of games, that man, he is going to be a force on the defensive end. And he hasn't yet. So we're just going to keep tracking it. It's going to be this many days since the last foul out. And I mean, we struck gold there. We did. This is early and we're super optimistic, or at least I am, on players, but that was great. So when you can get arguably one of the best players in the draft at 7, it's got to be a good offseason. So maybe I'm a B-. I just wanted to say something different. I'll say B.
I think C+ is fair. I think anywhere like B and C range is like on the mark. So there's no remorse about not getting Dalton Connect from either of you two, because as we record this, we are less than 24 hours after the Dalton Connect explosion where he scored 20.
Lakers fans are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. They are so ridiculous.
I saw people saying Lakers fans are ridiculous, and I was like, yeah, they are. And then I saw the highlights. So I was like, well, okay, I would be kind of ridiculous too if Clingan scored 20 points.
He did it against Bol. Like, well done.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
And Connect was supposed to come in and do this. Like, he's an older player. He's a scorer. Exactly. I mean, this was like, he's supposed to do that. So yeah, Lakers fans, come on, guys. You guys can get in the back here. You're going to be joining us not making the playoffs this year. So, you know, and you're going to be stuck at like the 9th pick or something.
Hey, I'm not involved in this. I don't want any Lakers heat.
No, Connor, I can't wait till you start breaking news, man. Like, seeing the name come across the ticker.
We'll see if that happens. You know, I'm still early on in the source building part of this, but
didn't you go to the same college as Shams? You and Shams from the same.
I did,
college?
yeah.
Surely that's kind of rubbing off.
Wait, really? You and Shams? What?
He's a Rambler.
Wow. So there's what year did he graduate?
He graduated. I got there the year after he graduated. So.
So you guys.
We just missed each other. Him and Stanley from The Office, I think, are our two most famous grads. So.
And soon to be, you're going to be the third. You're coming.
Wow.
Okay, guys, I gave you a question here, and you both have to give me an answer. We'll start with Adrian. We can do that. Let's flip flop. The question was, who's the first in Blazer to get traded this season? If you had to put your money down on the first one that is out, who's it going to be?
Time Lord.
It's
simple.
Okay. Really?
But
is he hurt? Yeah. What's going on right now? Is he really hurt, or is he just fake hurt?
I think. Look, I know some, including you, kind of haven't liked this point of view, but I'd much rather him play more at the start of the season and get his value up, and then move him for something kind of around that December 15, January 15 mark where players can start to be traded. No one's going to care after Klingon's won his seventh straight defensive all defense nomination in a decade. We're not going to care about him not playing in November 2024. Get Time Lord on the court, play him, boost his trade value, and then move him on for the best possible package.
Okay. All right. Rob Williams, a.k.a. Time Lord. That is Adrian's pick. Connor, who's the first one out the door?
We're 2 for 2 on answers right now, because I was also going to say Time Lord. Robert Williams. It just makes the most sense, and it's the easiest person to move with his contract. He doesn't make a ton.
Okay.
It's like, I forget the years, but it's he's not expiring. 2 years. And so, DeAndre Ayton, I don't think there's like a huge market for him. His contract is enormous. Like, he seems more like somebody who would get traded in the offseason rather than at the midseason, and contend. Like, any team wants a all defensive caliber backup big for a playoff push. So the demand will be high for him. And there's been a lot about the Blazers logjam at center. Like, I don't think it's as crucial of an issue like Adrian's saying right now, because Donovan Klingon's so young, and play Robert Williams early on, let him boost his value, and then trade him while he's healthy before you take on the risk of him getting hurt again, because it would be kind of a bummer to look back on that Boston trade and just see that you didn't really get anything out of Robert Williams. And I like Robert Williams a lot. The highlights are crazy. He seems like the coolest guy, but it just makes sense.
People forget he was 7th in all defensive player of the year 3 years ago. Like, when he's fit and healthy, he is a beast. And we just need him to kind of get his body right and get on the court and show a bit of that. And I mean, New York for me was the team that I thought would come knocking, but obviously they went after Cat. But there are still a handful of teams that would be interested in him. I've no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
We have there's a team in the league I can think of that needs like a backup point guard that has like a defensive mindset. And I think the first person traded from the Blazers, Milwaukee, a backup to Dame could be Chauncey. I mean, Chauncey Billups, lockdown, big shot.
Oh, I had no idea where you were going with that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go Simons there.
They don't.
I was like, Simons in defense, yes, maybe.
Chauncey, man, you trade it. He can be an assistant coach under Doc, and we'll get an assistant coach back from him and some
player coach.
Yeah, player coach. No, I'm going to lean towards I'm going to say Jeremy Grant. And this is the reason why. I think Rob, if he's hurt, he's going to be tough to trade, and he's already hurt, which that's kind of I'm a little skeptical where he's at there. If you trade Grant, who's going to be the most dynamic because he can hit threes, he can play defense, yada yada yada. He's a forward. Teams want that. Maybe Ayton slides to the 4, and Klingon's at the 5, and now you got some twin tower right there, and maybe that's the chemistry, the formula we've been missing. Maybe it's in front of us the whole time. That's what you do.
No.
Adrian, I'm curious. I want to hear your response.
He can hit that little 20-footer. He can hit that. I mean, it stretches the defense a little bit.
When he starts getting roasted by power forwards on the perimeter, then you can then no. It's fine this year because they don't care about winning. It's fine this year because they don't care about winning. But no.
I think the Twin Towers look will be like a spot minutes thing. I don't think
absolutely
be a lot of minutes.
Okay, well,
start to shut down the vision.
Guys, that was it. I felt like championship this year. I felt it.
No, but I can see why some people might think that, because obviously he's hitting threes, great. Like he's obviously been that 14 feet and out kind of. I don't know why you people do it, the Imperial system. It's crazy. 14 feet out, mid-range jumpers, but it just doesn't work for me on defense at all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the defensive side, you're right. That would be a little rough. He wouldn't be able to stay in front of anybody. But I just think there'd be a lot of length there. I don't know. Ayton's probably on the block too at some point.
It would be old school. It would be like 90s. That would be cool.
It would
Ralph Sampson, Akeem Olajuwon type of
Mike Hamilton here. He's our producer. Big Spurs fan, so he remembers the Robinson, Tim Duncan era with the Twin Towers down there in San Antonio. So, but that was like 20 years ago. So that's probably not gonna play. Okay, moving right along. So now that's that would be like a negative question, right? Who's getting traded? Who's out of town? Someone we're not going to cover anymore. Now that it's a positive question, we'll go back to Connor. Who's the player to watch? Like, who is going to be the player this season, provided that we are going to be bad, right? So let's just pretend that's the world that we live in, because that's probably going to be true. Who are you watching? Who are you going to tune in? If this wasn't your job, Connor, who would you be watching this season?
Yeah, my default answer would be Shaedon Sharpe. But that feels. But don't worry, Adrian, because I'm going to say it feels more obvious, and he's hurt right now. So I will go to my second option.
Is he badly hurt? What's going on?
Oh, he tore I think a partial tear in his labrum. Yeah. It said 4 to 6 weeks, which the Blazers, that could mean anywhere from maybe add another month to that, but.
He was taking shots this week, so
when I was at the practice facility on this week, he was out of the sling, putting up threes. So that's a promising sign. So that made me think maybe that timetable will be closer to accurate. But so not huge. Like he'll miss probably the first month, it sounds like, and then hopefully be ready to go. But he's the guy who I have the most hope for that could turn into an all-star. So I'm looking at him, but. To give a second answer for somebody who's playing right now, Toumani Camara has looked the most impressive through the preseason games. Whenever the word around camp is that he's been having one of the best camps. Chauncey said after the Seattle game that he was one of those guys that took a real step this summer, and you can see it in the games. On offense, he drives so much every time he gets the ball. He's seeking the rim. He's got a bit more of a wiggle to his game with some driving and some dribble moves that you didn't always see last year. He was kind of just like a camp and shoot type dude. Yeah. And then on top of that, he has all the defense has always been there. Watching him against the Clippers, he was flying everywhere on the floor, and he was doing it against James Harden. He had a block in the first 5 minutes. I think he had a block, 4 rebounds, just stats all over. So he will be exciting to watch, to see. At first I was like, he'll be hopefully a good starter in the NBA. Now that he's kind of adding more of this offensive game around it, I'm kind of like, could he be an elite type role player? Not an all-star type guy, but just a really good 3-and-D, just versatile player. So yeah, Camara, that is, and his jump shot looked more confident.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. I mean, did you see the 3-point shot?
Yeah, no, he's been shooting it confidently, and
he's 50% through 3 games on 2.7 attempts.
And it looks good, when he puts it up, you're not grimacing. He had this one shot against Seattle. It was right in front of me. He got it in the corner, up faked, dude flew by, took one regather dribble and just buried it, and that was with like 2 minutes left in a close game. So that kind of stood out to me. Yeah,
he gets that down in that, and then that confidence that follows just offensive basketball. Oh man, Toumani, that, I mean, could that be the, like, in 4 years from now, we look at that Dame trade and it's like everything else is like whatever, but remember they got Toumani? Like,
yeah,
maybe that
it's possible for sure. He's looked the best out of everybody that, like, he's looked better than Scoot so far, you know,
And I think on the Simmons, I don't know if y'all would listen into like the Over Under podcast. Bill Simmons podcast. But when they did the Blazers, you know, everyone's like under. But Bill's like, Russillo did go over. Yeah, he did go over. But Bill brought up, he's like, my favorite Blazer, man, Toumani Camara. And it's like, you got a guy, you know, he knows his stuff, obviously. So people after this season, definitely everyone going to know who Camara is.
Can we contact the people at NBA 2K and get them to pronounce his name properly?
How do they say
it's Camara. It's the calls calling him Camara.
Toumani Camara.
Yeah. It kind of has like a little bit of like elegance to it, Camara. You know, but they need to pronounce it right. They used to call Nicholas Batum Batum. I remember that from like 2K11.
Nicholas Batum. That's a great name right there. Yeah. Okay, Adrian. You can't say Toumani Camara. You can't. You got to say a different person.
Well, I was going to say Shaden Sharp, so that's off the table. I was going to say Toumani Camara.
I thought I was giving you the one, but
no. It's all right. It's all right. We've already kind of waxed lyrical about Denny, but this one's more of I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm going to say Scoot. And I'm not looking forward to it, but it's definitely the thing I'm going to be watching.
Yeah.
Through the first month of the season, particularly with Shaden out. Like, this is make or break. I hate to say it's make or break because he's only 20, but this season,
so early, you can't say that.
I hate to say. Not. I mean, I think he'll be an NBA player for a long time. I'm not concerned about that. But for someone who was touted with such fanfare coming out of the draft, last year was bad. I know he picked it up towards the end of the season, but last year was bad. The Clippers game, he was awful. The one up in Seattle, it was awful. And I know it's your first practice match, and you should never take anything from practice matches, but this first month is going to be – I'm going to be watching Scoot every time he touches the ball because we need to see some growth. We need to see some development because if Portland somehow lands the second or third pick next year and Dylan Harper is on the board after Cooper and Ace are gone, then what do the Blazers do? Do they pick up Dylan Harper, another point guard? And what does that mean for Scoot?
Oof.
So
yeah, that would be red flags. I mean, that would be signaling this didn't work, and we're moving.
Yeah, so I'm not looking forward to it, but I will be watching Scoot very closely this year.
So when you say the Seattle game, like, go just one step further there, Adrian. Like, was it just his decision making? Was it the 3-point shot? Obviously, he didn't shoot great in that game overall. What was standing out to you that was just like, oh man, shaking your head kind of thing?
Yes,
all of it.
Yes. No, it was the decision making. It was the finishing. Yeah. I'm not particularly worried about his shot, but the finishing is a big deal for me. The turnovers weren't great, although his turnovers have been good in the Kings game and the Ulm game. But it's the decision making, it's the finishing. They worry them. What they worry me the most, his shot selection as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to see more. Look, the second.
What, Connor? It was rough.
What's that?
It was rough. Like, sorry, not the shot selection. Like, it was just
The second quarter of the Sacramento game was great, but yeah.
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 Do you guys see, is the leadership there? Like, can Scoot, like, at some point, and maybe you got to be like the alpha on the team or the best player if you're going to like step into that role kind of deal. But like, do you think he can like get everybody on the same page? Like, rah, like, let's go. We're down 10 with 5 minutes to go. We can do, like, do you see that attribute in him? Because I feel like that's what people talked about a lot in the draft, pre-draft, was like, he has those intangibles, right? Do you see that at least?
I don't know whether it's his words. I think his energy, definitely. I don't know whether verbally he's that guy. I think he can be. Yeah, I mean, Connor might know this better than you're on the ground, but like,
I think so. It's just it's like when things are going very well, you can see it really easily. But when things are when that game against the Clippers, he was playing so bad, it's kind of maybe hard to be the guy rallying the team when you're struggling that much. But like his energy, he's always keeping it up. And all the players so far in the practice availabilities have been touting his leadership, especially DeAndre Ayton. Like he said that Scoot's been much more verbal this year. He said he's improved in that way. So I think he has that in him. It's tough, if he's going to be playing poorly. I think it'll be easier to see as the season goes along. If he's playing well, he'll be the guy to keep the energy positive and stuff. But he also, he needs to be having a good game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that was what got me excited about him. Right. It was just like, he was coming in, he was taking the place of Dame, all these things. But it was always those things you heard about, those like extras. And it was like, oh man, that's what I like. And you watch him, not in person, obviously from my perspective, but you do. I mean, he's talking, he's confident. Maybe sometimes he's overconfident. You could kind of feel it through the screen. But if he can like get that part of it down, it's one season. Like, and you put a lot on him. He got injured at the beginning. The turnovers were a thing. He just got to like calm it down. Like, I feel like he's just trying to get all the way. He's trying to sprint through the marathon. And it's like, just take a minute. But we got to see him this year. We got to see it.
Yeah.
He may also be handicapped. And this is something I wrote about last year. The Ignite. Every player that's come out of the Ignite has taken a little bit longer to acclimate to the NBA. Jalen Green, Kuminga, Hardy, like these guys, and obviously the franchise is now defunct. So who knows what's going to happen with Holland and Basalis? But clearly the development wasn't there with the Ignite. So maybe it set him back a couple of years. So look, if you're looking for some silver lining, then maybe he'll get there. Maybe it'll just take a little bit longer. But I still think we need to see some progression this year.
Danny Meringue had a good observation too about after that really tough opener against the Clippers, he didn't seem as rattled as he did last year when he started off pretty poorly. And I think that is true. And he said in the interviews, like, it's just one preseason game. I'm not putting too much like into it. And then he came back and played better the next game, and then much better the next game after that. So I think that was a good sign.
Cool. Okay. Well, we can't give up on him yet. We got to come on, Scoot. We're rooting for you, Scoot. We're rooting for you.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah. I would quickly, I would just take the last probably the last player on the board that would probably qualify for here, and it would be Clingan. It's the rookie. I think it's very simple for what he has to do, like relative to what kind of the expectations Scoot, I think, was facing of like, don't turn over the ball. Let's hit some threes, finish, replace Dame. It was a lot. Clingan, I think, just come out and just be a defensive force. I think that's just like really what you have to do. I think stay out of foul trouble. You have all these other centers on our team that kind of, can share minutes. Like, in my opinion, there's not tons of expectations on Clingan. I think he just can come in and kind of get a feel for the NBA. And I think it's hard as a center. You're not going to get foul calls. You're going to get taken advantage of in the post. Offensively, unless it's lobs, and the two of you can chime in here. Unless it's a lob play, I don't really know what else Clingan on offense I feel really comfortable with. If it's like a hook shot or something, the threes, he made 1 3 in the preseason so far.
He's been shooting it. I think just his hands, just get a little bit better at catching around the rim and being able to finish. Like, that's all I want to see from him this year. So the expectations are, it is funny compared to Scoot last year. Like, you wanted the world from him, and Clingan, it is just like, it'll be a more relaxing watch, less pressure.
Yeah, less pressure. What kind of season, and Adrian, you answer this, if Clingan wins Rookie of the Year, what kind of stat line does he have, or what kind of season does he put together?
I think it's really difficult. It's going to be really difficult for him to win Rookie of the Year, partially because you've got Time Lord there as well, who I think will take some minutes earlier in the year. But Rookie of the Year tends to go to offensive players who can put up offensive lines, and I think in the beginning, Clingan's going to be that rim protector, rebounder, blocker, rim protector, blocking shots. He'll have his moments where he has second chance shots and puts the ball back in, and there may be some pick and roll action there where he can put up points. But I don't think I wouldn't be putting money on him for rookie because of that kind of defensive first game that he has. So I think if he was going to win Rookie of the Year, he'd have to be putting up kind of 12 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks a game, which I don't think is realistic given the amount of time he's going to play and what he's capable of just yet.
Yeah. Do we have a nationally televised game?
We have one.
One.
The Blazers versus Bucks again. Game. Which is funny that we get it. I understood the first year when he came back, but now we get it for the second year. I don't know if it'll be a thing every year.
Just get the Dame return game. Yeah, it doesn't have the same luster as it is when the first time he comes back. That's odd. I part of me was hoping it would be towards the end of the season. It would be a nationally televised game against the Spurs, and Clingan gets the game-winning block on Wembanyama, and we win by 1, and it's like poster block. That's like the moment for his Rookie of the Year campaign right there.
And Scoot hits the buzzer beater. The buzzer beater just to kind of bring it full circle.
The block on Wemby, Scoot takes it down 3 on the. Oh man, Adrian, I like it. Okay. We still got to have the worst record in the NBA, but I'll take that win in that fashion. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Well. Okay. Last question. This is the last one, and this one, guys. The question was, what's your worst case / or best case / worst case scenario for the season? And you can't say like, oh, we win the championship, because we got to live in reality. So that's not the best case. So keep it down to earth. Connor, we'll start with you. What is the best case, and then what's the worst case for this season for you?
I thought you were going to say we can't say that the Blazers get Cooper Flag at the end.
No, we can
but
say
that was kind of the best case. I think.
Okay, hold on, Connor. Caveat: you can't say we get Cooper Flag because we don't know what draft selection will be in. Like, you can say worst, or be in the bottom 3, so we all have the same odds at the number 1 pick, but we don't know if we're going to get Cooper. So you can't say that. You can't say, taking that off the board.
Okay. I definitely think the goal should, and I feel like I'm going to piss off some, there's a very anti-tanking crowd out there, which I understand. I understand their pain. So I'm not like saying that's bad, but I do think this year the Blazers need to be close to the bottom. Like, I'm not saying lose every game, but like be in the bottom 5 and like get a shot. Because this is, if you tanked the last 2 years, it makes no sense to not do it this year when you still don't have a guy that like you can point to as like the big prize. So that is, I guess, the outcome that I think is best case. But in between the lines of all that, I think you just want to see development from Scoot and Shaedon. Like, those are the 2 most important players this season. And Scoot, I'm not going to say like the best case is he shows that he's an all-star. Like, I just think like he shows that he is the answer at guard, or like somebody you want to invest long-term in. Like, he shows that he's a starting level point guard in the NBA with a possible higher ceiling. Sharp, I'm like more ambitious about, and he stays healthy. Best case, he shows that he is like a secondary all-star, like a second piece. And then Klingon shows that he's going to be like a long time, really good defensive player. Denny Avdia shows that last year was not an outlier, that is who he is going to be for the next several years. So you can invest in him long-term. So it's just development all around, and like seeing those steps that you want to see from the most important guys. That is the best case scenario. Do you want me to go to worst case scenario, or should we wait for Adrian?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go. Adrian, give us best case, and then we'll go through worst case. I like that, Connor. I like that. Okay, Adrian, best case scenario for you this season.
The timing was perfect there because my internet connection cut out.
That was
came
perfect.
Back just in time for you to ask.
We did that intentionally.
Perfect timing.
Okay, best case.
So, and that's helped because I haven't actually heard all of what Connor said. So, best case scenario is so there might not be any double up there, or there might be a double up. Scoot confirms that he is a starting point guard. Shaden is everything built and more. He is an all-star. Denny Avdia meets all my expectations, and is that kind of Swiss Army knife. Jeremy Grant is potentially not on the team, and we have growth development. Ryan Rupert is a rotation player, right? Blazers still lose 19 games. They only win 19 games.
Yeah,
all that happening, and the Blazers still lose a ton of games. So that's the best case scenario.
Man.
Worst case scenario, and
hold on,
and there are no kind of 65-point losses or anything like that.
No 65-point losses?
Yeah, no 65-point losses.
Okay. All right. Let's avoid those.
Yeah.
We had one last year, right? Didn't we have one? Oh, two. Connor,
60-point losses.
Was it two?
Yeah. That was first NBA team ever. Nice.
That's great. Okay, Adrian, what's worst case?
Yeah. Scoot had the worst plus minus in the league, I think, last year because of that. But anyway, worst case scenario is Shaden stays injured, Scoot more of the same, and they still manage to win 30 games.
Yeah,
and miss out on Cooper Flag and the high draft pick.
Yeah, miss another draft pick. Yep, that would be terrible.
So,
I would say my best case, and Adrian kind of took half of it away. I was gonna say, Ryan Rupert and Chris Murray just emerge as these like stud guys off the bench, where you just know you have the 3-and-D guys that can play around a Shaden, Tumani, hopefully Scoot, adding a Flag person maybe in the offseason. But then you just got these stud guys off the bench. I think that would be really cool. And I think Chris has been starting, hasn't he been in the preseason? Did he start one game, or did he start any game?
I'm trying to remember.
Did he not? Maybe
first game.
Yeah.
First game.
But
I think,
kicking a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of minutes. He had that rough summer league. He's not a ball handler. We talked about it on old episodes. I think Chris and Ryan, if that would be an awesome scenario, if those guys really emerged. I don't see them as, they could be starters. I don't think they're all-star caliber players, but I do think if they were solid bench guys and we just keep developing, and where we just have that squad of young players, I think that would be incredible. And then obviously echoing,
I think Ryan has the game to maybe be an all-star, but a lot has to go right. I think Ryan.
I like it though. I see the vision.
I think Roops has the athleticism and the skill set, and from what I hear, Connor, the work ethic. I think he's got a little more of that X factor than than say Chris, who's very much a 3-and-D type prospect.
I like it. Okay. My worst case, I'll keep it simple. Ayton has a great year. Jeremy has a great year. Anthony has a great year. And the Blazers end up in the 9-10 play-in game and get smoked by the Sacramento Kings. And we're out of the playoffs. We have a terrible draft pick. And the 3 players that probably don't project to be on this team long-term all had great years, and all the young guys didn't. That would be my worst case scenario.
Yeah. Again, I can hear the Blazers edge readers being pissed. Some of them.
Well, okay. Well, Connor, go just a little deeper into that. Why are the anti-tankers? What's the case for the anti-tank?
It's just some people think it goes against the spirit of sport to want to lose, and which it is, and some people are like, I don't want to watch another year of a 20-win team, so that's kind of where they're coming from. And I think some people, it's just hard to hear that winning is bad. And so that's
Do you know what I say to those people? Do you know what I say to the people who want that instant gratification of, I don't want to lose? Okay, well, in 2 years' time, when you've got Cooper Flagg, Shaedon Sharpe, and Donovan Clingan dominating the league and contending for the finals, don't come back and complain. Don't say, like, if you give up your season tickets this year, don't try and buy them back in 2 years, because you've already taken your stand here. In order to get there, there needs to be some short-term pain.
Yeah, well, I do. Joe Cronin, I think the quote from Media Day that stood out to me, he said, like, we don't want to skip any steps, which told me, okay, they want to lose. Like, I was like, there it is. They're not going to try to sneak in. And I do think that's like solid logic. Like, they're not ready to push the chips in yet. So yeah, I will give my worst case now. It's the worst case scenario this year is very bleak. It's like Scoot doesn't prove that he's a starting level player. Shaedon is hurt for a lot of the year, and when he does play, like, can't really get a rhythm, and it's not. You still are kind of like, well, okay, what is he? Is he super good or not? And you just, if that happens, the first 2 or 3 years of this whole rebuild is kind of like a wash. Like, it didn't work. Like, you would hope out of the last 3 drafts, like, one of these guys hits. And if this year happens and they don't, you kind of go into next year almost like you're restarting again from the next draft. So that would be a bummer. That's why some of these fans are saying, well, losing is stupid because you don't know if it's actually going to work. And if that did happen, the first 3 years tanking did not work. So I hope that is not the case.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to know, I mean, right, the first 10 games, 15 games, I mean, it provided that, there's not injuries like Simon's getting hurt last year in the first 20 minutes of game 1. Like, if there's not major injuries, Chauncey's going to play the guys, right? They're going to play Ayton, they're going to play Grant and Simons, and they're going to go out and quote unquote try to win. But we'll see what it looks like after 10 or 15 games. And if the Blazers are 3-12 actually trying to win, then this isn't the team. And we need to use what the league has given us as high lottery draft picks, go to the losing teams, and we got to just lose. So, but it would be hard if the team is like, what was that last year with Dame? We started out like 10-2. You all remember that?
Yeah, something like that, like 11-3, 11-4.
That was the Winslow. That was the Winslow year, wasn't it? So,
Winslow.
Yeah, they started off hot.
Justice
I was texting my friends. I was like, "Hold on, everybody."
I know, hold on. And so, there's a world. I need to look at the Blazers first, like 10, 15 games. I haven't looked who we're playing, but it's like if we got up to a hot start, the team is going to keep trying.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
Oh well,
we had a tough schedule.
Okay, well,
nah.
Well, there you go. Well, maybe then, sorry, tankers or the anti-tankers. Well, we'll see. As long as nobody gets hurt, like the Shaedon injury, did that just happen? That sucks.
Yeah, that happened like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
Yeah, the first week of training camp.
Oh man, that's the stuff we got to avoid.
Yeah. Not good.
Not good.
Can I add one last question?
Yeah.
And this is a yes or a no. Is Chauncey Billups coaching Game 82 with the Blazers?
Game 82, yes.
I'm going to say no. No. He's gone.
Could Bjorkgren take over permanently, perhaps?
I think Chauncey goes somewhere for an All-Star break and just stays there. I think that's what happens. If I were him, I would want to leave too. I don't know.
I mean, Bjorkgren didn't have a great stay in Indiana, but he's got the acumen.
Yeah, I think that would take a really remember last year they had that road trip from hell where they lost like 7 games out of 8 by like 50 point whatever, it's crazy. Yeah, I think it would take another one of those and make maybe even longer for that to happen because his contract runs out at the end of the year. Like they're not trying to win, so I don't see it making much sense to let him go midseason.
And Connor, and I don't want you. Don't
say. But if they sack him now, then they don't have to pay him out another season.
Well, but they could just do it in the offseason because they won't have to. It's an option, They don't have to do
it. Connor, I'll ask a question. I don't want you to get in trouble because I know you have some access here to go into practices. But I mean, do you see is he still engaged? Like, is Chauncey still
yeah?
In it?
Yeah, I for sure. I don't know. I'm so early in this that I don't know. Like you have to read between the lines to see that sort of stuff, and I'm not, at that advanced level, I think yet. But he's saying all the right things, trying to coach up the team. He talked about coaching at his Hall of Fame induction speech and talked about how much he loves it. So all right. No, nothing bad to say on that end.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, as we close here, Connor, as far as following you on Blazers Edge, are you going to be writing more? Are you doing?
Oh yeah, a lot more. So we'll have along with our usual instant recap and then extended analysis recap of every game, every home game. I will also be adding a third recap at the end of the night with quotes and just. Sights and scenes from inside the building. I'm trying to get trying to look for interesting things that are happening at the Moda Center this year that I can add to the stories, to add just another unique angle, just to use the access that we have. I was at the game against the Germany team, and there was a group of fans who traveled all the way from Frankfurt to see the game. I talked to them, got a picture of them and an interview with them in the story. So.
Cool.
Yeah. To answer your question, yes, a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more. Are you going to be able to edit my post-game analysis pieces, or is that not you anymore?
Less so. I think on away games, I'll be around.
Okay, all right. Thank God. Okay, Connor, I can't do it on my own. It's terrible. Adrian, you still got your angles coming out Sundays? Is that still the formula?
Yes.
Sundays in Australia,
I'm actually polishing it. Sunday in Australia, yeah. So I'm actually just polishing off a piece on Toumani Camara.
Cool. Okay.
So that's kind of what does a ceiling hitter Toumani Camara look like, and can he stay on the Blazers? So by the time this comes out, it'll be well and truly published.
All right.
But every Saturday US, every Sunday in Australia.
Perfect. Connor, now that you have some more pull, we got to actually officially call them Adrian's Angles. Like that has to be the title of the article. They can't just be
It started like that.
Yeah. Well, we get it back. What are we doing? Adrian's Angles. Brilliant. It needs a nice logo. I know a good artist that he could draw up something.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk.
That'd be great.
There you go. Cool. All right. Connor, Adrian, thank you for coming back on the Rip City Roundtable podcast as we kick off the 2024-2025 NBA season. Let's be healthy, get a little tanking in there, and let's capture the flag. Let's go.
Here we go.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks for having us.
We Rogue Media Sports.